Welcome back to the channel. Last week I was feeling a little bit under the weather, but right now I'm feeling good and better than ever. We got week 12 Dom picks. Let's kick it off with a pivotal matchup, the Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's start off with KC. I'm not even finna lie to you guys. Every loss that they take going forward makes the impossible seem more likely of them missing the playoffs. Now, when the dust settles, I believe they will be at least in the wild card. Outside of that, right now, Kansas City have to take it 1 week at a time. And this week, they have a tough matchup going against the Indianapolis Colts. With Indy, they put together a complete team effort offensively. Although Daniel Jones has come back to earth a little bit, he, for the most part, has had a resurgence in his career. And then Jonathan Taylor, he's been balling. Defensively, at the trade deadline, they added Sauce Gardner. I believe he's going to be that playmaker they were looking for. And keep in mind, when Jadavius Ward comes off of IR, that secondary is going to be a problem for a lot of teams across the league. And this could be the season where Indy might find themselves in the AFC title game. Maybe a Super Bowl run. I can see this game going either way. I'm going to lean with the Indianapolis Colts, though, because for the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to give Kansas City the benefit of the doubt. I know they got Patrick Mahomes. That offense has not been the same, though. They can't run the ball with or without Pacheco. And then defensively, where they don't excel at is the pass rush. And to win in this league, you're going to have to be able to get after the quarterback. This will be a close game, much like all of KC's games so far. But with me giving the edge to the Indianapolis Colts offensive unit, I believe they will be able to decide this game. And we'll see whether or not Patrick Mahomes and the crew have an answer. Jets and Ravens, Tyrod Taylor is expected to get the start this week, but I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. I believe Lamar Jackson is going to bounce back after a very underwhelming week against Cleveland. And defensively for Baltimore, that unit should be able to contain a New York Jets offense that is lacking in playmakers outside of Breece Hall. Next, Vikings and Packers. I'm expecting this to be a defensive slugfest. Minnesota's defense has arrived to the party, and then we know how great that Green Bay defensive unit has been throughout the course of the season. Looking for the offensive units for both squads. JJ McCarthy has been extremely underwhelming. Granted, he's only played 5 games in the NFL. And I do want to mention this. Small sample size. In 2 road games, he's looked much better. I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case. As going into Green Bay, that's a tough environment. On the Green Bay offensive side, we'll see if Josh Jacobs is going to be available for this game. He's dealing with swelling in his knee. And I just read a report that was saying it wasn't necessarily a pain factor. It was whether or not he could have enough range in the motion and being able to make cuts and all that as a running back. If he's available for Sunday, that's going to be a plus for that Packers offense. I'm going to take Green Bay. I trust their offensive unit much more than I do Minnesota, despite them having injuries and being inconsistent for most of the season. And on the other side of the ball, I'm expecting Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary to eat this game. Seahawks and Titans, this is an obvious get-back game for Seattle. Expect Sam Darnold to have a bounce-back performance as the Seahawks dominate. Steelers and Bears, that offense in Chicago is legit. They have no problems moving the ball across the field. Is it inconsistent? Yes, but that's to be expected. This is a young offensive unit, along with this being the first year under that Ben Johnson scheme. The underlying problem, though, is their inability to finish drives with touchdowns. And in this league, you have to score 7 rather than selling for 3. This week, they got that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I've been critical of them so far this season, but in the last month or so, they've definitely improved their play. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears offense struggled a little bit in this one. I'm still going to lean with Chicago, though. We don't know if A-Rod is going to actually play this week. I feel more comfortable with the Bears as Caleb and that squad have done a great job so far this season of finding ways to win in one-score games. Moving to the next game, we got the Patriots and the Bengals. This is low-key a tough game to predict, because if Joe Burrow actually does play, I feel like there's a sneaky chance for Cincy to pull off an upset. However, the Patriots have been underappreciated, especially by me. Whether or not Joe Burrow is available on Sunday, I'm taking New England. Drake May has had a fantastic season. Trevon Henderson is starting to come along in the run game, and he's dynamic as a pass catcher as well. I don't believe Cincinnati is going to have an answer to slow down that offensive unit. Giants and Lions, I'm going to take Detroit. This is obviously a get-right game for them. I'm expecting that offense to have a much better performance considering how lackluster they were in primetime last week. Moving to the afternoon slate, let's start off with the Falcons and the Saints. With how Atlanta has been playing the last couple of weeks, I should not pick them. I should take the Saints, who actually looked good before they went on bye last week, but I haven't learned my lesson. I'm taking the Falcons. I just believe they have too much to play for in this game. Not only the rights to their first rounder in the upcoming draft, plus the NFC South isn't completely wrapped up. Also on the long list of a lot to play for, Kirk Cousins. He's going to be the starter the rest of the way, with Michael Penix Jr. being out with that partially torn ACL. It's going to be on him to play well during the last stretch of games, as that can revitalize his career and potentially put him in a better position for next season. Jags and Cardinals, I'm expecting this to be a close game. I'm going to lean with Jacksonville. I believe their defense is better, and that will allow them to win this game on the road. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. We got two important storylines in this one. First, we got Shedeur Sanders making his first career start. Then you have Myles Garrett versus Max Crosby, battle of two of the most prominent pass rushers in the game right now. I want to take the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders is going to prove all the haters wrong. And on the defensive side, Myles Garrett is going to slam the door shut, as he will be able to get after Geno Smith. Next, we got a very important NFC East showdown, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The biggest question is whether or not that Dallas Cowboys defense is legit. I'm here to say, not so fast. We have to be honest with ourselves. They went up against the Las Vegas Raiders. This week, going up against the Eagles, although the Eagles offense has been lackluster this year as well, they have the talent on paper. This Sunday is going to be the indicator for how improved that defensive unit is in Dallas. For my Dom pick, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I've seen the Eagles lose in this position. I chalked that up to this being a rivalry. Last couple of years, it's been tough for the Eagles to win on the road in Dallas. I believe that trend continues. That being said, I believe their defense is going to give them a chance, but it's on that offense on whether or not they can get A.J. Brown and that passing game going. Sunday Night Football, Buccaneers and the Rams. Let's start off in Tampa. Are the Buccaneers in trouble? Yes and no. Yes, because their defense, who I've been praising a lot this season, they've been getting torched. And that's largely due to the pass rush not being able to generate enough pressure and sacks. Now in the run game, their defense has been phenomenal, but that's to be expected when you have Vita Vea in the middle. I also mentioned this team wasn't too much in trouble as well, and that's because they're missing pieces. Bucky Irving, their number one running back, he's been out for what seems like forever. And then with your pass catchers, you're missing Mike Evans, Chris Godwin Jr. Ibuka has slowed down just a little bit, but that's because teams are starting to single in on him. This is going to be a tough matchup going against that Rams secondary and Rams defense as a whole that has been playing phenomenally the last couple of weeks. And switching gears to the Rams, they look like they're the best team in football right now. An elite offense, and then when you look at us on the other side of the ball, at worst, we're a top 10 unit, very opportunistic when it comes to forcing takeaways, and although the pass rush hasn't been consistent, they do a good job of at least generating pressure on opposing quarterbacks. I believe that can continue, and we might be able to get more sacks, as the biggest weakness of that Buccaneers offense is their line. My Dom pick, I'm taking the Rams. They're clicking on all cylinders. And for Tampa, during this recent losing streak, their problem has been their inability to close games. I believe that will continue as this Rams team is playing some really good football right now. In the closeout Week 12 Dom picks, we got Monday Night Football, Carolina Panthers, and the San Francisco 49ers. This is Bryce Young's best season so far of his young career. Last week in overtime against the Falcons in a win, he threw for over 400 passing yards. I believe that can continue in this one, as the San Francisco 49ers secondary is banged up with injuries, and the defense as a whole just hasn't been good the last month or so. The X factor, however, is going to be the Panthers defense. That unit is the biggest reason for why the Panthers have had so much success this year. They're much better than we all thought they would be this season, and they have a tough task going against this Niners offensive unit that's healthy for the most part. Brock Purdy looked good in his return last week. CMC, we know how dynamic he is in both the running game and as a pass catcher out of the backfield. And I low-key kind of forgot about this. He is going against the Carolina Panthers, the team that drafted him. I don't believe there's any bad blood there, but obviously he's going to want to have a great game going against his former team. Elsewhere in that offense, getting Ricky Pearsall back is going to be massive in the long run. And I want to address this real quick. I feel pretty idiotic for not having the Niners as a playoff team. I was very high coming into the season with the Minnesota Vikings. That has not played out well. There's still a ton of games to go, but as the season looks right now, the Niners should be able to get one of those wild card spots. And in this matchup, if they can get a win, this is going to be an opportunity to improve their chances at reaching the postseason. This is going to be a close game, but I got to lean with the 49ers being at home. And as I mentioned, their offense is so dynamic, plus they're well coached. I believe they will find a way to win this game. That's going to wrap up the video. If you stay to the end, much love as always. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below your predictions for week 12, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.